Hello. Hello.
Hello? Let me hang on. Hang on. Close this up. I found out that house guest that I couldn't get.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to have a achievement party host. I don't know. Anyway, I looked it up, and it's basically you have to have 3 people visit your house simultaneously.
Well,
That's all it is.
if you paid me,
Yeah, but you're not 3.
Yeah, and you and Mom don't make
But
3
we could do it
either.
tomorrow.
So,
Maybe Jared will play.
but
yeah, that we could do that. And honestly, I think Jared's been logging in to get the house. So
Yeah, I told him today. I didn't know you had told him.
boy, that house is something else.
Oh my gosh.
There's really not much as far as house goes. I mean, there are some rooms, but they're in the tunnel.
Have
But
you
there's a
seen
big,
it?
huge
Yeah.
underground cavern.
I call it it's more of a
Yeah.
property than a house, but
Yeah,
It's
I've already decorated it since today was place 7 furnishing. So
I haven't told Jared anything about what it looks like because I want him to be surprised.
yeah. I didn't. I didn't tell him.
I mean, there's like 3 levels to it in the map.
But like like reset was like what 5 a.m. So when reset went through, I was on, and I grabbed my house, and obviously, so did everyone else. Like in the entire game, like all of the NA server, right? Everyone that's on that server, they grabbed that house.
Who's on at 5 a.m.?
Apparently, lots
A
of
lot
people.
of people.
Because
Oh my gosh.
because I try to get into the house, and my game stops working,
Oh no.
and I get a DC because I'm just not doing anything, and I can't load into the house. So I'm booted from the game, and I finally get back on after some effort, and I get back on, and I'm in the Alakir, and everyone in the Alakir is going, "What's going on?" Like they're angry, they're very poisonous. They're like, Zos, I paid for your game. Give this to me now.
Boy. Okay.
Well, when I left the house, of course, it puts me. I went to it from just starting the game, even before I did my crafting and stuff. So I just previewed the house. Well, when I left the house, of course, it stuck me in the Alakir Desert, and I'm standing on the steps leading to the house, and all I hear is the doors. There's just more and more people on the
Yeah.
steps.
Yep.
It's just like everybody just.
I mean, like, because it's apparently, and I didn't know this, rather embarrassing moment for me, but it's now the only link between the Alakir and Bankarai. The Alakir Desert had no walkable link to any other zone, and I didn't even realize that. Like, you can't walk from the Alakir anywhere else. But now with this house, you can walk from Alakir to Bankarai, because it connects to both zones. So, everyone was angry in the Alakir chat, very grumpy, and then I went into the house finally, and I explored it, and I came out the other side, and I'm in Bankarai, and it's a more crowded area, and it's just full of people. All these crowds of people there just to check out the house, and it's funny, they're all happy. Alakir was all very angry and nasty. On Bankarai, on the other side, they're all like, "Wow, this house is so cool! This is amazing!" I don't know why. I'm guessing it's because when you port to the house, it takes you outside of the Alakir. So, like, everyone that was going there for the first time was probably in Alakir, and they were angry because they couldn't get in. And everyone that managed to get in and came out the other side in Bankarai were happy because they got to experience it. That's what I'm gonna assume was causing the difference. But it was very fun to watch. Everyone was very cheery. It was almost hyperbolized. Everyone's playing instruments. Hey, everybody!
It's a party.
Enchantress is here.
Enchantress.
Hello.
Tetris.
You guys can group and port to me. We're gonna be grabbing sky shards. And Ginger says she prefers the happy side of the house.
Same.
Yep.
Oh, you did level up
This
to
is
50.
question mark? Huh?
You didn't level up to 50.
Eh,
Okay, I just kind of assumed
Oh,
you
no,
did
I-
during the week.
52%. No, I don't do much during the week.
Okay, I guess it'll happen on the way.
Hey.
Do you have any sky
Okay.
shards in this zone?
Nope.
None. Okay. That makes things easier. We don't have to filter through anything.
This is where my house is.
Yeah, it's just to the north.
Oh, right up there. One of my houses.
Alright, so there's one literally right up here. I might vanish, potentially. I think this might be one of those zones. But there's a sky shard here.
I see it on my bar.
Mom vanished for me.
It's this
Oh.
way. Should I go looking for it myself?
I guess so, because I don't see you. You vanished for us. So it's in the tower, it
Mhm.
looks like.
It's right here.
It's always funny to see. Alright,
You're not here.
yeah.
I
we
just
we
see
this
her
little
marker
beam.
over her head. Well, I see the marker over her head that I have for her.
Alright, now, Mom, just kind of keep going down the road, I guess.
Oh, that's scary.
How scary.
It's scary. There's moving plants and there's lurchers.
Are we going to go across the bridge? No.
No.
We're going to...
Oh, and bad guys. Where are you sending me?
Where'd you go? Hang on. Where are you?
She's not visible, Dad.
Oh, she's on the... but she's on the bridge. I can see where she's at because of the marker. She's right here.
Okay.
You told me to go down the road.
Yeah, you made the wrong turn in a fork. Doesn't matter. I'm going to
Let
just...
me get this lurcher.
I want us to get over here.
Oh, I'm gonna die.
Oh my gosh.
Are there
gotta get
bad
outta
things
here.
around you?
I'm getting out of here.
Well, hang on. Was
No,
there bad
this is
stuff
bad.
after
There's a
you?
lot of bad.
I'm
It's
really
coming
glad
all
I
at
grew
me.
out of this.
It's all gonna be chasing me down the road. Oh my
Alright.
god.
Well, where are you going? Am I supposed to follow you or her?
She'll
can't
port to me
help
when
her.
she's ready. She's almost a level 50. She can take care of herself. How can we
Okay.
expect her to be a level 50?
Bad guys turn back.
Okay, port to me.
So now go to you.
Yes.
You told me. Go down the road. I went down the road.
You made a
She doesn't know which road because she can't see either one of us. So
Yeah.
that's why I mentioned
There's a
something
map.
about the bridge, and I got no response.
Didn't look at the map.
there's the road. The road reaches a fork, which goes to a dead end. I just kind of assumed that you'd be like, "Oh, that's a dead end."
Well, okay. For further
Hi, I'm
information,
here. Okay, here
she
we
does
go.
not. She does not look at maps
Map. Schmap.
unless you say look
Who
at
needs
a
a
map.
map? All right. Well, then I don't know. Follow me. Speaking of which, Starfield's supposed to have a big update this month, which with a bunch of things that probably should have been around since the beginning of the game, but like for example, maps that actually work. hooray! You know, I don't know. Like I play Starfield now. It's like I was like, this map system is honestly just the worst in any game I've ever played. It's just I don't know. But now the maps are like the maps look more. It's kind of more like Skyrim, where it's like you see a model of the overworlds. But it's hard to pull off with Starfield. It's not as easy to pull off as it was with Skyrim, because Starfield has, you know, generated chunks like Minecraft, so it's probably harder to do.
What? What?
Anyway, so... Oh, my inventory's full. I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, you found it. So... There's some gaming drama today.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy. Do you remember Helldivers? The game that I wanted us to get into, that Steven got into,
Yes.
and you know, I
Yes.
just don't have time. So that game, it looks fun, but the devs decided to make a mistake because it was too good for them. Things were going too well, and they were like, you know what? Let's mess everything up. I believe their company's owned by Sony, right? And so they, I guess, made a deal with Sony that now makes it so that everyone that wants to play Helldivers has to get a PlayStation Network account to play their game. Now, it's free to get a PSN account, and I made one probably back in 11, maybe 10. But the PSN one, people don't like making accounts for things that they're like, I already bought your game, I don't want to have to do this. That already makes them angry. But the PSN is known, I mean, it's infamously known for its lack of security, and Sony in general doesn't have a great track record with keeping their personal data safe at all. Do you remember the massive Sony hack? I think that was like in, I don't know, it was like in 13 or something. It impacted Sony so much. I think they had to like. That might have been how Marvel got the rights back to Spider-Man, because they had to sell him. Because that was probably around 2015, 16. I think that was it. Anyway, so people are like, I don't want to get a PSN account because you're going to sell my data, or there's going to be a breach, and I think that's probably valid. The devs decided to respond with this personally, which is also a terrible idea. Respond professionally, not personally.
Oh boy.
But here's the thing about Helldivers is that it has a Discord, and devs these days really like to be in touch with their fans. They're like, oh, you can talk to me, I'm a person, which is good at a point. You know, there's a
Depends
point.
on what kind of person you are.
There's a point where it stops being good because you're still a person. You might say something on a Twitch stream or whatever that doesn't settle well, and you're representing your game.
Right.
So they've got a Discord where they're just responding to people. Like, I'm like, is this a dev or is this just some rando? But no, it's one of the devs. Just I'm like, no, you shouldn't just be responding to any Joe Schmo who's angry about this. That's not a good idea.
No, that's not a good business.
I think that, like, what they should have done is they should have sat back, watched the backlash, and then did what any game studio does and go, we're sorry, we won't do this.
Take the high road.
But if Sony owns them, then maybe they don't have a choice. Maybe Sony's like, do this or else, because it's an incredibly, wildly successful game. Like, you know, it's all the rage these days. It's hip, it's groovy. I mean, you walk into the diner and someone's playing it on the jukebox. So
Maybe they figured they can't do no wrong.
that's might be sort of it, but also it might have been Sony going, "Oh wow, this is big. We need to get these people on our PSN, like all of them." I don't know if the PSN is like. I think there might be like a PSN, there might be a plus or something that they're trying to advertise a subscription, maybe. It could be. I don't want to think of it this way, but I mean, like, I don't know. Are they selling data to third parties or something?
Surely not.
I don't know. I mean, there might be something in the terms and conditions about certain data they're allowed to give. Let's take this path. There's a lot of walls. So that's got everyone in an uproar. I mean, like, oof, man. So I guess it's like time for the next viral game. I don't know what that'll be. Maybe it's
people were griping, and one of the devs got snarky back with them. And
well, it looks. I saw at least one occasion of that happening, where someone said something like, "Hold on, I don't want to misquote," but I did send Jared the screenshot. So someone said, "This is in the Discord." Someone said, "This will kill Helldivers 2 on Steam. Backpedal or lose your player base." And then the dev responded with, "I thought you were refunding and leaving. Like, get out of here." You know, it's just kind of like, I thought you were leaving. Get out. And
you said you were going to move to Canada.
Basically, yeah. It's like I thought you said you were going to leave. And it's like, okay, a little snarky, little personal.
not professional.
I mean, you just shouldn't. We're reaching a point in our society where people who are very accustomed to using social media are getting big jobs, like really big jobs, and they're still just using social media like they're not representing a product or
like
company.
They're kids.
Right. Like, you are
no
the
consequences.
developer of a huge game, sir. Which is probably going to make you a lot of money.
Or at least you're on the payroll.
And it's yeah, I mean, I don't know, cause I also follow like voice actors and stuff who are saying things, and I'm like, you're gonna lose your job if you talk more.
Yeah.
Not that I disagree with them, but I'm like the company is not gonna like you saying this, you know. So, oh, cool.
Or you hope the company doesn't like them saying it.
Well, it really depends. You know, it's like for example, someone that there's a chest over here.
Yeah, I see that. I also saw him. So
someone that merely was, you know, back a few years ago playing a Blizzard game, Hearthstone, won a tournament and then made a big Chinese political statement during his acceptance speech for winning that tournament. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, Blizzard didn't like it because it upset the Chinese people, and guess who's one of their biggest customers because of how massive the country is? China. Mm-hmm. So Blizzard held his money from him, his winnings, and because this was about the Hong Kong situation a few years ago. Yeah. And so he was showing support and making a political statement, and they're like, you know, China's not very happy with you. We're having to keep this from you, and it's just kind of like, I mean, obviously I don't disagree with the fact that he should have been able to say that. He's not right. An employee of Blizzard even. He was just in a contest and he won fair and square.
Shows the power of
That caused a lot, a lot of drama.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, that's also why a lot of news shows, when they're broadcasting live, they have a delay.
Oh,
So that if something happens,
Yeah, they probably should have delayed what he
they can
said.
actually stop it
Paused.
before it hits the air. I mean, people think they're saying something or doing something and getting famous, and it's like, yeah, that never made it because they.
It mostly to
I think it's like a
Bleep out
three second or
profanities
5
and
second.
things. But
Well,
I don't know if
mean,
it works with
even
saying what you think.
even if they did so, you know, he would have been like, oh, they bleeped this out, and also they're keeping me from my prize money.
Mhm.
It would have become public knowledge really fast. But I mean, like, and I'm not necessarily, because it's like there's so many different points to this argument where it's like, you know, anyone could say anything, whether it be I support it or not. It can be controversial, and
True.
some people
It's
are
like,
some people
just
are
keep
saying
politics
they're just
out of it.
saying it straight up on their
Just say
social
things.
media, and it's like you're gonna get yourself fired. Of course, you know, for a lot of people, that's the power of the statement. They're like, I could get fired, but more on the point, less on the point of politics, and more on the point of personal, like getting yourself personally involved when you're a representative of a company or something like that, and you're getting feisty. You know, you're getting personal and angry at your fans. That's not a good look.
No, I mean, didn't Rich do that?
Wasn't gonna say it, but
I'm
no,
sorry,
well,
oops.
I mean,
Bleep
like,
me.
I don't believe it was him though. But the situation was
Oh no,
pretty much.
Yeah. It
Pretty
wasn't-
much, yeah.
It wasn't him. I forget who it was.
I did not perceive the drama. I caught wind of the drama, and I saw the aftermath of the drama.
And I don't think he's been on since.
Sparingly.
Yeah,
sparingly.
and that's
And
probably
that's-
why it
that's-
was. The company said, "Let's just pull back."
That's kind of the first thing I think of when I think of people.
Look here,
But
it
he
isn't
said that
human
you know, it's his passion to want to be a gamer that's like a player that's also making the games. This is not a treasure chest. This was confusing me.
Oh, I see where it is.
So he, you know, he's like my goal is to be a gamer that also is making the games, right? Because he's like, you can connect with people that way, and it's like, I get it, that makes sense, it's a good
Yeah,
idea
in theory.
in theory, but you know,
People have
but
turned nasty.
when you're streaming the game and you have an open chat, right? He had an open chat where people could just say, you know, whatever. It's like that's a recipe for disaster. And you know, if it was me, I'm sure I would get snarky. You know, I mean, like,
Oh, I'm sure you would.
there's a certain point where you just there's a certain point where you
I
might
don't
just
have
get
this
fed up.
boss, by the way.
Oh. And I remember I think he did get a little bit testy, like over like PvP stuff, because those PvPers are always the loudest. And yeah, I think he just kind of stopped streaming as
That's too
much.
bad. Anyway, I got it. We don't have to fight him. But
Oh, okay.
I just.
See, we want to head, you know what? I think that was all in Upper Bankarai. We're going to do lower. So I'm going to Way Shrine, because otherwise it's going to be... I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to Way Shrine. Just give me a second. Is there a Way Shrine near me? No, not really.
No.
Alright, give me a second. You better run, the boss spawn.
Oh.
I'm there. But like back when I think probably he moved away after the whole after maybe it was before Twitter changed, but William Shatner used to be on Twitter all the time, man, like all the time. He would respond to
Yeah,
anyone.
oh, man. Same thing.
Anyone. I mean, like,
And now it's Mark Hamill's doing it.
yeah, Mark Hamill does it as well.
You hit 70 something and it's like you come up.
He's just really into Twitter. I guess.
Grumpy old man.
You're like instead of complaining, you know, with no one to hear, everyone can hear. But I mean, so that's. But everyone complains on social media.
Oh yeah.
Because, you know, I recently downloaded Fallout, started playing 4 for the first time, and made a couple posts about it. And Twitter was like, oh, hey, you know, I detect that you're talking about Fallout. Would you like to see more Fallout-related posts? I'm like, no, not really. I don't, you know, like, I've already got Elder Scrolls fans, and they're a pain in the ass. So that's like, too bad. Here's what's going on with the Fallout fandom right now, and I'm like, oh boy, isn't that exciting? Can I go back? You know, it's like, especially, you know, because it's like, they're always complaining about Fallout 4. It's kind of the Skyrim of the bunch.
Really?
Yeah, Fallout 4 is seen as the Skyrim.
Nobody likes Fallout 4.
Well, I didn't say that.
That's the biggest one. Okay, it's the Skyrim. It's the big,
I'd say it's like the most
favorite.
it's the most entry friendly, but like, oh, they dumbed it down, so it's like
oh,
that.
okay.
We're gonna have to go down this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because that's how I could play so 35 hours of it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm having a hard time myself, and I'm on normal, right? Nice, good jump. I keep getting killed by ghouls. I had just saved Nick Valentine. He's pretty sweet. I mean, I'm having a good time, but the fact is, especially with Bethesda games, any new entry will be seen as the worst.
Well, that's just everything in general. Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's just people don't like change. And then in 10 years it'll be nostalgia and everybody's favorite.
Right. So, you know how Alchemy, the house guest, just dropped last night, and she has a line that I took a screenshot of because it's how I feel about all this modern critique with media. She says, all the best audiences have something in common, a gleam in the eye, that spark of curiosity. Not to prove or to invalidate, but to enjoy. Savor. After all, there's music in a trick wall, a song in a false knife, and they just want to sing along. So it's like, she's basically saying the best audiences are those who aren't trying to find a bunch of faults in everything, and just kind of, just sit back and enjoy.
Yeah.
Maybe this is hypocritical for me to say because I'm a lore nerd, but and I'm like, should this be here? But the point being, even when there's like something that might seem like a lore mistake, I can like headcanon it to be like, this might be the reason for it. Whereas a lot of people are like, burn the devs at the stake. You know, so no one tries to give anyone any slack. It's always immediate, like, aggravation and the eagerness to disprove and hate. It's just so common.
That's just everything in general, not just games.
I mean, like, literally, it seems like a joke to the point where it's honestly very funny for me. I don't really know why other people don't find it as funny, but the current belief is that Elder Scrolls 6 is a terrible game. I've seen people say it's just a terrible game. It doesn't exist yet. We don't even know where it is. People just say it's garbage. I'm like, guys, we don't even know what.
Where do you see that?
Because they're basically what they're saying is like they're like, you know, they're disliking maybe
Pre-hate.
current Bethesda games. They're basically just going like, I want to get on the train before it starts, you know.
I hated it
So
before you.
Basically, so they're like it's just terrible, and I'm like, really? I'm like, it's not. We don't even know where it is. We don't even know where Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be, what it's called, you know. And they're already saying it's garbage, and I'm like, come on, guys.
So if it is, they can say, "See, a
Yeah.
year ago, even before it came out, I knew it was going to be garbage."
will not be.
That's exactly it, though. They're like, oh, I said it was going to be garbage, and but the thing is, though, it's like if you believe it's going to be trash, it's going to be. I mean, like it's how you know you've already made up your mind. Grumpy children. I mean, like if we look at Starfield, I think that Bethesda's learned a bit more of like how to find a balance. I don't know what happened with them in maps. They were like, no one likes maps. But when it came to character creation, it was a bit more detailed. It was kind of more like Oblivion. So I'm thinking that Elder Scrolls 6 might go along those lines. They also with the new patch said that they're taking away the they're making it toggleable, the dialogue camera, so the dialogue camera will no longer zoom in on an NPC's face, which always annoyed me. So they're like, you can turn that off and on. It's a thing that Oblivion did, and they're like, we're gonna keep doing it.
I need that way shrine.
We'll get it.
I know people that post and they say nothing at all to do with the post. They just say first, and that's it. But they have nothing to say about the post. They just want to be first.
Yeah, people still do that. We're gonna vanish bomb. It's okay. There's no danger here, really, I don't think.
Keep going down this road.
Yeah.
Up to the left, head through the little valley here.
Okay, that's not on the road.
Yeah,
It's
I
okay.
know it's not.
It's okay. Just keep going.
So that's why I told you that. Come by the. Yep,
Okay, I
that's
see the
it.
sky shard. I also see it. Ooh, spider's having a fight. Look at that spider.
We can't see nothing.
No,
They're
there's
fighting
nothing
two
here.
skeevers. I've
You're a
never seen that
hallucination having a hallucination.
before. It's a spider attacking two skeevers. I've
See
never
what,
seen
see
it
what
before.
I see? Just your mark over your head, and that's
Well,
it.
look what I
There's
see.
nothing
I see
there.
a spider and two skeevers.
I think you're skeeving it.
Wow, something just showed up behind me.
Okay, where should she go? She's running away.
Okay, now I'm on the road.
She's back to the corner there of the road.
Okay, hold
I
on.
don't like it when you disappear.
I know.
Well, at least my little marker gives me a heads up of where you are.
I don't really think there's much in the way of danger here, so...
Come on back the road the way you came towards the way shrine.
Yeah, just kind of go back down the way that you came.
Then we're going past the way shrine on the road.
So here's the thing that people found interesting is that, I can't believe I haven't done this quest.
Watch out for the Imperial archers.
So I guess they did an interview with Todd Howard, who said that he doesn't want Fallout games to leave the United States. Which is interesting. He's like, you know, because people are like, I want to see what post-apocalypse, you know, Russia looks like or whatever. But he's like, no, we're not leaving, which is interesting because he said the same thing about Tamriel. Everyone's like, well, we want to see the other continents, and he's like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to leave it mysterious. It's the exact same mindset, and I, you know, it's like I like his commitment to, because creatively that's a good idea. It's like, oh, it keeps a lot of mystery and theory, but it's like commercially, I don't really know because you're gonna run out of stuff eventually, man. But he's probably planning on leaving soon anyway, like maybe retiring. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would assume.
Probably.
I don't see him doing much more. I see him like feeling comfortable enough to hand it off to someone else. I mean, he's been working God, he's been in this industry for a while. You know, he's one of the titans. So I mean, I don't know if he's made a statement, but I would see Elder Scrolls 6 as being his last. Maybe Fallout 5? I don't know. But it does kind of put him in a bind, though, because it's like, well, what are you going to do when you run out of space? You run out of Tamriel, you run out of the United States. But at least it shows that he has a creative vision, and he's not willing to... He's not really willing to sacrifice that. I wish that people were nicer to Starfield, because that was kind of his, like... That was his dream project, I think. He was just really wanted to make a game like Starfield. And people were a little bit too rude to it. Even though I do have my complaints. I think he was involved with the... He was involved with the inception of ESO, obviously, because, you know, it's Elder Scrolls, and he has to be. But, you know, it's not like he's involved with it currently. Zos is a split up. That being said, he might have been involved recently. Like, he might have been involved with Athelia. Because when doing all the Athelia content, they had to talk to the big guns. I'm just gonna stay off of my mount. There's a lot of enemies here. I think I could be wrong, but I think Todd jumped on during Daggerfall. I don't think it was Arena. I could be wrong. That would have been 96. At least that's when it released. You know, obviously it was probably more like 95 or something when he got on. I mean, if that's the case, then he would be like, you know, he's like working in this industry as long as I have existed. Ray Shrine. I'm just gonna be marking on the map where these are. We're on the last. This might be the last. Well, the last overworld one. Somewhere around here.
It's right here.
Oh. I think this is the most underrated base game zone. It's very pretty.
Very Mojave Desert-y.
Mm-hmm.
Like home.
I like the big cliff sides. Let's see, that should have been 10 of them? Was that right?
I have.
I can imagine
There's
you've got many, Dad.
6. I've
I
got
have
all of them.
8 out of 16.
There's 16.
What did I miss?
That was 8.
Oh, okay, hold on. I think I realized what I missed. Give me a second. because there's six delves, and there's one in each delve. We're not doing that right now, so we're missing 2, and one is in Evermore, which is a walk in the park. But where's the other one? Where's the other one? We did this one. One, 2, 3. Oh, wait, no, yeah, no, 4, 5, 6, 7. Six delves. The math ain't mathing. Oh wait, did we? We got this one right.
Yeah, let me look. Oop.
Well, I think mom's a more viable
I don't have
source.
anything where that circle is.
Okay, so on you see the key? No, you see the filter button on the right side. It'll be where all your quests are.
Third one over on top.
It looked like a funnel.
On the right side. On the right side.
Over here?
Column, far right column.
Oh yeah, funnel,
Funnel. Yep.
filter.
Click on that.
Acquired
Yep.
sky shards should be on.
Turn acquired sky shards on. Yep.
Okay, now it is.
Okay, you have one here
Yes,
and here
yes,
and here
yes,
and here.
yes,
Okay, that's 4, and then one here,
yes,
5 here,
yes,
6,
There's
yes. That's all I
seven.
have.
and then
One, there's
this
one
one.
right
Oh, and that
above. There's one right above the one you did 3 ago. The Secret Shrine by Pellin's Crunch. Or.
Oh, this one.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the Evermore one. So that's the thing is, though, is
Yeah.
that's 9, right? So
How about Tossed in a Coveside Tower? Is that the first one we did?
that was the first one. That was
That's
the first
way
one
at
she
the
got.
very top.
So my question is, if there's 6 delves, and there's one in
Then
each
there's
delve.
one. There's one down at the lower right that says nested in an Imperial camp,
We just got
right
that.
right above the unhallowed
So I'm
grave
missing
dungeon.
2 overland
Okay.
ones. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm
Um,
just drawing a blank
then
on.
there's one at the very bottom called "Waited to be inducted to the hall." It's
Got
just
it.
east of the Ansi's breath.
I think I've got it. I think I put it together. I'm having a brainstorm. I think I just realized where it might be.
I think there's one behind the boss called "Take
It's
a
not
Fall"
listening.
from the
All right, hold
grotto.
on. You're gonna port to me in a second.
Annihilate the Falls
Okay,
or whatever. Right. Just trying to help.
I think that you're not gonna find it because I think where it is, you can't see, which is very rare and odd. But you can port to me. So we're gonna be going to Evermore really quick. This is like roleplay central right now.
Okay.
There's not going to be any enemies. There's not going to be any instances. Let me mark it. The Anchor's Point Inn is where people go to roleplay. Granted, I haven't seen it in forever, so I don't really know how it is right now.
So, interesting name for the town. Do you have an idea what it's named for?
Anchor's Point?
No. Why did it just say Evermore? What's Evermore?
Oh, Evermore's the name of the town. This is the town of Evermore.
I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of crows and ravens. Does that mean anything?
The crows are part of the quest. It's like part of the quest. That there's a lot of like crows hanging around. You'll encounter some townsfolk complaining about it. I think it has something to do with the Reachman. But also, oddly enough, there's just tons of Halloween decorations which aren't supposed to be here.
There are. How funny!
Yeah, I don't think this is. They honestly, I don't think they've said anything about it, and I don't know if they want to fix it. And the more I think about it, the more I'm wondering if they're doing it on purpose. I know it doesn't make much sense, but follow me. Just kind of, you'll see the sky shard. I'm wondering if this is like supposed to be, you know, Athalia's making things weird. Look, it's Halloween, but at the same time, it's the anniversary. Because it's like, they could probably change this. It's been probably 30 maintenances since it started happening and it's not fixed, so, I mean, come on. That being said, it is a new thing. They just started doing this, like, decorations during holidays thing, and they might not know how to work it.
It just takes so much time to put everything back.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
Yeah, put it back in the attic, so
You just turn off the switch.
It's like leaving the Christmas
yeah,
lights
it's
on.
just like leaving Christmas stuff up. Just kind of like, oh, you know, I'm going to turn my Christmas tree into a holiday tree. Boom.
Yeah, that was my
Done.
idea.
Hold on, give me a second. Let me think.
Uh-oh.
He's in a sad state.
No, sorry. Someone had said something in one of my guild chats where I mean they you know might have gotten the date wrong.
Well, I'm not gonna get 50 tonight, so...
No.
Believe me, there is nothing I'd fancy more than returning you to your homes. The sooner
It'll give us
you
something
start
to
cleaning
do.
up your rubbish, the better.
Ugh. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. This is a bold plan, but I'm just thinking of this as we go along. We're gonna go to the Sunken Roadway Shrine.
Okay.
So in 7 minutes, my buff goes away, so don't let me try to remind me.
Don't let you try to remind you. Got it.
Don't let me forget it, which I probably will.
All right. I hope this works. Please work. Okay, this is the Sunken Road. It's a way for people to cross the border without, you know, having to go through the garrison. It's a path that I like to use if I don't have the Way Shrine or if I don't have the quest. I don't see a Sky Shard here, but I mean, come on. It's gotta be something. Maybe if I change levels? So Sally, Cove Site, Call of Battle, Pellin's Church. Wait. The first, I think the first 6 listed on this list are the overworld ones. So answer the call to battle. Hey, can anyone no, hold on, that's it right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's right. It has to be 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So on the first 10 listed on the Sky Shard list, is there any one that doesn't sound familiar? Here's Hags with Seasonable Limbs. We did this one. We did Pellin's Church. We did that one. Call to Battle did this one. Silicelli, Evermore, Coveside. That's all done. Waiting to be inducted into the Hall. We did that. Take a Fall from the Grotto. We did that one. Nestle the Imperial Camp. We did that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so sent away to stay with the dead. That's probably what we're looking for. Sent away to stay with the dead. What does that mean, though? I'm checking every delve on the map. That's not
But
right.
it's gonna
though.
be above the delve.
I know. It has to be. I mean, am I forgetting something here? Tragic Tale of Architect and Princess. Ah, of course. Ah.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
It's the public dungeon. I wasn't.
Of
course it
I don't
is.
want to go in a public dungeon.
Fine. We'll put that with delves. I totally forgot. Okay. Well, you know what? That's embarrassing. I haven't gone Sky Shard hunting in a while. It's got to be the public dungeon. So
Okay.
so we've got
I'll definitely do it
6?
tomorrow.
No, we've got 8 of them. 9 of them.
9.
9.
Yeah,
You've got 9, which is 3 skill points.
Okay.
Man, there's a lot going on in the chat. I can't keep up with all that. In one of my guild chats. Anyway, so yeah, keep your eyes on the endeavors. There will be special ones that will be housing themed. Today, it's setting 7 furnishings. But those, you're gonna want to keep your eyes peeled for those. You will not, I mean, like, as soon as you get on, because you might accidentally do 3 that aren't housing related. And I'm not always gonna remind you. It's probably gonna be how it is for the next, I don't know, few weeks. I mean, how long did the stabbing and stealing go on? That was for a while. This is like, they're like, hey, we're doing it again, but for housing.
Well, good.
I mean, they made it kind of easy today, where it's like, it's kind of hard to accidentally do one, but I almost accidentally did a trial, because I was doing a trial, like, right as reset hit. Like, we finished a trial, and then 15 seconds later, reset hit, and it says, do a trial. I could not believe it. I was like, really? I just so happened to be in a trial.
Okay.
I think Gold Road is exactly a month from now. I'm pretty sure it's the 3rd.
Alright. Ah.
Hmm.
Okay. Alright, well, I'll see you tomorrow. We're gonna try to leave by noon.
Okay.
And don't keep people waiting or they'll freak out. I'll get up a little
Fun.
before that. Get up before that. It's called being on time.
Well, they're going to be here doing windows too, so I don't know. Of course, they probably won't
They'll
start
be down
till
here. Yeah, they'll be
9.
down here until we leave.
Well, probably about noon they may finish down here, so.
That's right about the time we leave.
Yeah.
Alright, bye. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
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 Yeah. Had a good time. Thank
Same.
you. See, I'm quitting the game.
Yeah.
Oh, we get a crate tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be getting a lot of crates.
Yeah. 10. All right. Well, thank you. You had a good time.
Same.
See you tomorrow.
See ya.
Love you.
Love you too.
Good night.
Night.
Bye.
Bye. I'm so good at this game. Okay, so that, I got 80 for that. It's good I spent some, so. Hmm. Let's see. 2 quests and a trial. Alchemy Skull. I might just go ahead and do that, to be honest. Oh, jeez. I don't like how you can just travel to any player. It's so easy. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna travel to someone who's in my guild. Hi to Stalkerish. Sandra's Mora, eh? I was going for Vivek City, but you know, it's okay. All right. I had someone ask recently. I think it was Raz asked, like, what's your favorite place to do crafting, and I was like, I want to say Alinor, but like it hasn't been Alinor in a long time, probably like years at this point. I re-gravitated to Vardenfell, to Vivek City. I don't really know why. I recently did mine in Alinor. You know, I don't dislike it. It's a cozy place. Oh shoot, I need to clear my inventory. But I think my favorite place is Vardenfell. Just because of the nostalgia, the amount of players that are here these days. Let's see. I like how easy things are to get to. You don't have to like go inside anywhere or anything. That's kind of an obstacle when it comes to Solitude or Gonfalon Bay. Blackwood, Leowin's a good place. Leowin's a good one. It's very compact there.
Rogero Oko.
I keep getting distracted by my chat. My guild chat. Anyway, so the new house, don't really know what I'm going to do with it. I think for a lot of people, they're just kind of like, oh, it's so fancy, and then they're going to turn into a place to just drop off their furniture. But, there's, you know, there's incredible potential with it. It's just that you have to be like, you have to really be someone that, I think, makes buildings instead of furnishes buildings. So... Ah! It's always weird when I'm playing a character that, you know, well, rather any of my other characters, because they don't use Lightning Dash. None of my other characters use Lightning Dash. It's always like, oh, I wanna run this to this place very quickly, and it's like, oh, I can't do that. You know, I know like Samuel's got like the dash, which is pretty good, but it's not like Lightning Dash. Alright, so... Oh yeah, that's done. I did, okay, perfect. Oh my god. For a second there, I was like, did I do the other one? I did. Okay. I won't have a very long stream because yeah, I do have to be up earlier because we're going to the fair. So I won't be here for the usual amount of time. In fact, I'm kind of wondering if I should just go to Infinite because I kind of want to do some Infinite. But I don't know. Okay, so I did pick. Oh, hold on. I picked this up during the week. I'll show you guys in a second. Why are we fighting in the marketplace? We don't need to make a mess. Well, then he just cuts us. Anyway, so here's something that I see a lot of people talking about, and honestly, I don't really blame them, because I believed it for a while, like, without any doubt. But anytime anyone's talking about Argonians, especially Elder Scrolls fans that haven't even touched ESO, pretty much all they talk about is like, oh, Argonians, you know, when the gates opened in Blackmarsh at the end of the Third Era, they ran in and Dagon had to close some gates. Everyone knows this lore, you know, you can't, because, like, here's the thing, it's like, there's like 3 Argonian facts for casual Elder Scrolls fans, that's definitely, like, near the top, but, and it took a while for me to think this, but I forgot who mentioned it to me, but, like, it's very likely that was just propaganda, you know, it's likely that they were just, like, spreading news to make the Argonians seem tougher, because you don't actually see it. What was the military faction that was like the military faction of Blackmarsh? What are they called? What are they called? I can't believe I'm forgetting this. The something Zalil? Let me see. Some people think that it's just them spreading propaganda, which is fair, you know, because, like, they do want to seem tougher. What are they called? Military Argonians. No. Let's see. Let's just do Argonians, and then I'll type in military. Or no, maybe I could do king. No. Maybe, I think their name has Shell? No. Oh, Shellbacks, was it? No. I don't know, I'm completely forgetting what they're called. But some people think that it could just be propaganda. But, I mean, for all we know, it did happen. Do I believe that it happened? Like, does it sound... Dang it, I think I just had it. I just had it, and I left the page. I saw a picture, and I was like, that's it! And then I accidentally quit the page. Here, yeah, Anzalil. That's it. Anzalil. Ugh. I don't remember if the Anzalil were a thing at this time. So I'm gonna look it up. Anzalil, let's see here. Lore, Anzalil, political party in Blackmarsh formed sometime. Okay, so it was during the Oblivion Crisis, so they don't exist during this time. That's kind of what I thought. But then someone recently was talking about how they were, like, existing during ESO, and I was confused. Okay, so they didn't exist at this time. That makes sense. Okay, so yeah, but yeah, obviously during the Oblivion Crisis, Argonian super strong, like, breaking through the gates. It could have just been propaganda. But that being said, I believe it's likely. I think that the Argonians have an incredible advantage over the Daedra, because Argonians are, like, obviously, you know, influenced by the Hist. The Hist communicate with them, and the Hist are obviously incredibly patomaic beings who would be super aware of everything going on in Oblivion, most likely. The Hist, if anyone was gonna know what's going on, I think that the Hist would be, like, right there. Essentially, it's like the saying, fight fire with fire. I see, essentially, the Hist not being too terribly far off from Daedra. It's calling them Daedra, like, it's complicated, but I think they have the same properties. There's a lot of similarities. You find them in Oblivion, for one. I think so saying Daedra might be kind of weird. I'm gonna call them patomaic beings, but you might be able to call them Daedra. But essentially, if they're patomaic beings, you know, so is Dagon. They're kind of on the same level there. Granted, not as destructive, or probably not as powerful. But I definitely see them being able to, like, think ahead of Dagon. So, honestly, it just seems more likely now. I think, like, Argonian lore made it seem more likely that, that they might have actually entered the gates than it did before. But I don't know. The more I think about it, I can think of reasons why I just find it interesting. Huh. Oh, yeah, hold on. I came here because I wanted to show you guys I bought a dress. I bought the... I don't remember what it's called. But I do know the creator is from Skingrad, so I'll just type in Skingrad. Yeah, here it is. Dioclesia is like a I don't know, a designer, very famous apparently, because I see their name everywhere. Dioclesia. I don't know if we're gonna meet them, but I've been seeing their name for years, making all kinds of outfits, reviews, fashion statements, and observations. I would love to meet this person, but, anyways, yeah, here's the dress. I guess I probably should dye it. It looks great, it looks great in these colors on Whistles, but, oh, wow. Yeah, I like that. Way better. Guys, this actually dyes pretty good, doesn't it? It makes the blue really stand out. Goodness gracious. That does really well.
Try that again, and I'll cut you.
Did I really just see that? I did.
Did I really just see that? I did! Anyway, so yeah. It's kind of weird, because I'm sitting here thinking about, like, would the Argonians be opposed to would the Argonians, like, fundamentally would they be opposed to the Oblivion Crisis? Seeing as the Oblivion Crisis is essentially just another example of a cataclysm affecting their land. What makes the Oblivion Crisis different from, say, a storm? I mean, it's just a very, very powerful one. I mean, they're just doing what the Hiss told them to, right? So I always found it interesting how there are obviously exceptions to this idea of constant change for Argonians. I mean, obviously you're gonna have one that's like, oh shoot, our house just burned down, we'll just make another one. And at the same time, you'll have the exact same Argonian be like, they're upset that someone died for a while, and it's like, well, okay, is that hypocritical? I think it might be. I mean, Argonians, they have a way of life, but they're still just sentient beings that fall into the same traps that anyone does. Is it hypocritical that the Argonians would fight back against Dagon during the Oblivion Crisis? Maybe, technically. Maybe. But I do believe it would be possible, and it'd be interesting that it would be directed by the Hist, because I mean that's what it seems to be implying in the Oblivion passive dialogue, where they mentioned that the Hist had called Argonians to Blackmarsh. So it's like a collective idea by the Hist to have this happen, because the Hist they're always the ones, you know, calling the shots. They're like, oh, you know, the Dustfall's happening now, guys. It's just kind of what's going on. Not that they all agreed. In this case, it's just the same thing. It's like, hey guys, the opposite of the Dustfall is happening. We're gonna come together and fight change instead of, like, accepting it. I don't know. Again, it seems hypocritical at first glance, but I wonder what the reasoning is for it. The Psijic Order, they don't really go into this in ESO. Not much, at least. But, it's probably because there's really no reason for it to come up. But the Psijic Order actually has, you know, a very interesting perspective on Padome, essentially Sithis, that is actually mentioned. I think it's mentioned in books in ESO, which is pretty good. So let me. What? Hey. Okay. Hi. Who? You? Oh, level 43. Oh shit, it's level 43. Okay. Did you really want to fight or no? Okay, he wants to fight. Did he, like, not see me as a threat because I was in a dress? Nah. That'd be judgmental. Oh, shoot. There you go, man. So what was I gonna say? Psijic. Right, so let me see if I can find it. Old Ways? Is this it? No. Yes, here it is. Psijic councils act wickedly, and... Okay, so if the Psijic councils acts wickedly and brings Ognithir, which is bad change. This is a concept that I wanted to bring up. Let me see where it shows up. Ognithir. Did I spell it wrong? Oh. Got it. Okay. It appears in two places that I have. It appears in the Monomyth, at least one section of it, and in the Old Ways, which I was just pulling up. Okay, so here's what was probably a book called Ognithir. by Tehirete, Order of Siege, obviously the Sijic Order. In Mundus, conflict and disparity are what bring change, and change is most sacred of the 11 forces. Change is the force without focus or origin. So, this... obviously, this is weird, because this is the Sijic Order, and it's not too terribly different from how Argonians believe, you know? Argonians see change as obviously the most sacred thing ever. Not every Argonian, right? I mean, if you want an Argonian that doesn't care about this, that's not breaking lore or anything. This is just like, you know, fundamental Argonianism. So, so that being said, it's weird to see that the Sijics have the same idea. So, the Sijics have this idea that there is a bad change and a good change. And I don't know if the Hiss feel the same way, and that's why the Hiss oppose, like, the Oblivion Crisis. It should be noted that according to the Onuad, where is it? Okay, right here it says the Hiss were bystanders in the Alnofay War, but most of the realm was destroyed as the war passed over it. A small corner of it survived to become Black Marsh and Tamriel. Most of their realm was sunk beneath the sea. Let's see. Did the Hiss show up anywhere else in here? Right. Here they show up here too. I'm not sure if it mentions it in this version of the book, but I believe somewhere it mentions that the Hiss elected to stay in creation. So maybe, like, the Oblivion Crisis was just too much for them, and they were like, you know, it's at this point, it's no longer casual change to perpetuate the universe. It would be the end of all things. So it's like, you know, we're tolerant, but not that tolerant, might be the idea behind why the Hiss would be against such a massive cataclysm. It does seem hypocritical on the surface, though. In fact, it might be hypocritical just overall. But that might be the reasoning for their decision. I guess I never really thought about it before. Oop. This person just stopped right behind me. Like, as if there's a line. There he goes! So on that note, I do find it interesting that I think when you really think about it for a while, Argonians are technically probably not as close to dragons, technically, as the Altmer. So it's kind of like, oh, look at the Argonians, they're lizard people, right? So it's like, oh, they're similar to dragons, maybe they're related. It's hilarious because when you think about it, the Altmer are, you know, at least there is evidence for this, and they like to make a big deal about it, but it is true. They're very close. They're pretty close, at least the closest I think to their fundamental source, the Altmer. So therefore, they're as close to their ancestors as they can probably possibly be, and because of that, they're technically close to the gods, right? I mean, they're like they're sort of mortals, so they're like the mortal, as close as a mortal can probably get without becoming something more. But that being said, it means that technically it's like, okay, they're a smidgen closer to Ariel, right? Ariel being Akatosh, being, you know, the source of all dragons and represented as a dragon himself. However, then you get Argonians, who are kind of a hybrid, because Argonians are they're still creation, right? They're still like, at least if we're gonna go by the Hist altering like lizards in the swamp idea, which holds up. If we want to go by that, then that means that they were creation, like made by the gods, that got altered through Hist sap, which is very potentially a patomaic concept. So it's basically like they're a hybrid. Like they're definitely more patomaic, which instantly brings them away from Akatosh, and it leaves the Altmer being closer. So it's weird. It's weird that they're technically closer than the lizard people. So, the Hist, the Hist never, like, created anything. I mean, you could say that the Hist created Argonians, but, I mean, even if you believe the, you know, transformed lizard concept, which is likely, if you believe that, then the Hist did not create the Argonians. Well, they didn't completely create them, right? They altered them, right? So it's like, oh, hey, here's actual animals, and we're going to use our sap to create them and generate them into, like, protectors for us, extensions of us, right? So essentially, it's like, oh, we're going to essentially appropriate this creation. This basically, it's like, hey, we're going to take this thing that already exists and make our own thing out of it, right? Like if you make a house if you're like making a house in ESO, it's like, sure, you're making that house, but it's like you're using stuff that the devs all made. You're using assets and whatnot, as like, you know, the foundation and everything is made by the devs. So it's like I guess you could say you created the house, but you are using things that already existed, which is obviously an incredibly Daedric idea. Which I think makes the Argonians very interesting. Now the question is just like, oh no, does that make the Argonians bad if they're like very patomaic or whatnot? Nah, not at all. In fact, one, it obviously makes them very interesting. They're not the only ones though. I mean, you've got Dunmer with Daedric influence. You've got Khajiit, but it makes them interesting. Because I think they have like a stronger connection to patomaic forces than those other races do. I mean, the Khajiit, like after the Riddlethar epiphany, the Khajiit kind of moved away from Daedra for the most part. And then with the Dunmer, I mean, as soon as they became Dunmer, they moved to the Tribunal and they kind of like put the Daedric princes behind them. Meanwhile, the Argonians are still just kind of like, you know, they're still connected with the Hist. They can't put them behind them. You can't put the Hist behind you. I mean, the Hist are so connected with the Argonians. I think it's hard to ignore the similarities between like Daedra and their princes. Basically, I believe that they're similar for that reason. But here's the thing, it's like, no, being patomaic or Daedric even doesn't make you bad. The Elder Scrolls is not good and bad. I like, you know, you'll have elves that are, you know, doing things in the name of their gods, horrible things. And, you know, you'll have Daedric worshippers that obviously are nowhere near as bad. So that's the fun thing about Elder Scrolls is that you know, you don't really fall into the light and dark concept, which is kind of basic. It's a lot more nuanced than that. Being like more aligned with Anu is just more like staticness, right? Stability and organization and order, and then being associated with Padome is just more chaos and the void. But the thing is that you can't have one or the other or things get really bad. I mean, I guess it really depends on what you see as bad, but, you know, like, the whole thing about the Mundus is that it's basically the middle of the Venn diagram. You've got one side is, like, static creation, the other side is void, chaos, maybe trying to pull at that creation. You know, the Mundus is in the middle. It's essentially, I mean, it's not yes, it's not no, it's not white, it's not black, it's gray, and it's a maybe. So it's like not being one-sided isn't really bad. It's just kind of like what you do with that. Because, like, if you're thinking about Dagon, obviously Dagon is complete chaos and destruction. That's pretty bad if you happen to be part of creation. But merely being an orderly being can also be pretty dangerous. But it does get a little bit complicated, right? Because not every Daedra is necessarily constantly chaotic. Because you'll have, like, I always found Jyggalag very interesting. Because Jyggalag is very, you know, orderly. That's his thing. Order and organization, staticness. But he is a Daedra. He doesn't really seem that patomaically connected, at least not at first. But Daedra's like I said earlier, it's kind of a catch-all term. Daedra doesn't necessarily mean bad or anything. It's just kind of a state of being. It's more like, think of it like when someone asks you what you like about something you hate, you're gonna say something like, you know, like it would be a long list of the things that you don't like about this one thing. That's kind of how the Daedra work, because the Daedra essentially are just not ancestors. The Daedra are beings that did not participate in creation, right? So it's basically like the list of those who didn't participate is a long one. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're evil or that they're out to get you. The list the list just goes on and on and on. So essentially it's a very large catch-all term. It's a long list. So like I said with the Hist, it's like, oh, do we call the Hist Daedric? It's kind of hard to say because the Hist seem to be patomanically involved, but at the same time, they technically, I guess, participate in creation by being here. So it's kind of a weird middle ground, which is the Argonians in general. Argonians are a very interesting middle ground. Oh, hey, there's Moondragon down there. Best tank in the game. Shout out to him, right there. Or them, I guess. I mean, look at that CP. Not quite max, but still. I remember meeting Moondragon way back. I would grind Bakorgan back in the day. That was probably like 2020, maybe? Anyway, I've gotten into dungeons, I think trials with them. Incredibly good tank. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I guess because like I've had people who are who are doing like the Deadlands DLC, and they're like, well, what's all these Daedra that don't want to kill me? What's up with that? Because a lot of people just think Daedra equals bad. There's like a light and a dark side, when it's just different. It's just different forms of existence, and the pathomaic form of existence oftentimes is pretty bad for mortals because it's chaos, and oftentimes that leads to bad things. Like Namira is like the very end of that spectrum because she's the void. She's like directly connected to it, and the void is the nothingness. It's the absence of existence. But even if you get down to it, it's like, is that bad? It's just it's a nature, you know. I mean, like the nature of the void is to have things to just not exist. It's not like you know, the void exists to be evil, to destroy everything because it hates it. It's just it. You know, you fall off a cliff, you can't blame gravity. Gravity's just doing what gravity does. On that note, though, before I forget, another thing I wanted to point out with the Hist is that another thing that makes them very Daedra-like is the idea that they, you know, like they recycle Argonian souls, right? So it's like Argonian dies, they go back to the Hist, and they get made like as a new Argonian, you know, like life anew. Not to the point where they're like able to remember, like, oh hey, I was this guy in a past life. It sounds more like it's like just a reuse concept of a soul, not really a personality. Because I've never heard of Argonian being like, oh yeah, a few lives ago I was like this. But I mean, just think about it though. That's incredibly Daedric. I mean, like a Daedra dies, and a Daedra just comes back. Granted, though, they do come back with memory, so it's a little bit different. But recycling the same animuses, right? That's also just completely in line. And I think it really makes the Argonians stand out. I mean, like, having them, like, worship Sithis and everything, I love it because it seems like such a red flag for so many fans who are just like, oh god, I played the Dark Brotherhood DLC, Sithis is bad and wants to kill people. And it's like, they're adding, like, a really nuanced perspective onto what Sithis is, and ESO's just done such a good job at doing that. Because you know, it's very tiring having people just refer to Sithis as like a god or something that wants death. It doesn't help that he has Sith in his name, or it rather. It's always a tricky thing talking about Sithis because there's really no evidence that Sithis is a sentient being, because Sithis is essentially just, you know, one side of that Venn diagram that I mentioned, right? So Sithis is the chaos side, and like Anu or whatever, you know, you want to call him, is on the other side, and the Mundus is in the middle. And it's like, you know, is Sithis a thinking being? Probably not. It seems more like a force. But like, you know, obviously mortals don't always see things the same way. And, you know, even Argonians will talk about Sithis like a being, what the Dark Brotherhood do especially. But I think it really helps when you like realize that Sithis is just movement, you know? It's like it really helps once you stop believing in Sithis as just being death and realize that it's also, you know, the grass swaying in the breeze, the cloud covering the sun, the fire that burns down your house. It's just things changing, things moving. You can't have existence really without it. This guy says, "Oop, time to fuck up Zamaja." What is going on here? Ugh. It's always Dread Sale. Dread Sale. Do I really want to do a Sanctorium? I've got a spicy sandwich here, and it's gonna kill me, guys. I just kind of thought I would get one last lore talk in before I die. Anyway, no one gets my books. I was talking recently with someone about, you're thinking, here he goes again, he's going to keep talking. But I was talking to someone recently, though, about Argonians, and said this, oh my god, please ask permission before doing that. And my friend pointed out, he's like, oh, you know, like, whereas ESO wrote like 99% of Argonian lore, there was, well, that was cool. There obviously, the Shadow Scales was a thing since Oblivion, right? 2006, the Shadow Scales existed. Everyone loves Shadow Scales. I mean, like, imagine how many Shadow Scales OCs there are. So, ESO goes into this topic a bit, because it's like, okay, well, how do Shadow Scales work in Argonian society? And I'm not an expert on Shadow Scales, because I'm not really an expert on Dark Brotherhood, to be honest. You know, I don't do it as often as some people. But the dragon who stole Argonian Day, no, I moved it so that you could enjoy it. No, it's kidding, I didn't move it. You could look up posts from me last year and probably the year before on the 21st of August, and I will be calling it Argonian Day, because that is Argonian Day. I mean, just keep on a lookout during the 21st of August. You'll see a lot of fan art, I hope. Now, the question is, how did Argonian Day begin, and why is it the 21st of August? It may have been started by an NSFW Argonian Twitter account, I think, if I remember correctly. But hey, it's a thing. I see a lot of people calling. I mean, I even Googled it. I Googled it, and it says it's the 21st of August. You made your post. So many people were like, no. I don't. I guess there's 2 Argonian days now. I was surprised, too. I was like, what's going on? Anyway. I just do every day. Every day is Argonian Day. Okay. That makes it way easier. Anyway, I'm eating a spicy sandwich. I'm struggling here. It's very spicy. I know people don't watch streams for this, but I mean, come on. Maybe I should turn on my fan. The weather is hot. What was I saying? Right. So bacon, Cajun McCrispy. No, I did have that last week. It's that one. I had that last Friday. That wasn't too spicy. It was very good though. I think it was pretty good for its price. But I decided to go. I decided to go spicy McCrispy this time, which is way spicier. But I mean, I'm also sensitive. So let me see here. What was it? Was it Nothing Speaker? Okay. How do I? Do they? That's odd. I guess we'll just use this term. Here we are. Okay, so I believe this book is written by a Nothing Speaker about the Dark Brotherhood's perception of Sithis, if I'm correct. So it's interesting. Yeah, this is by Niswo Ziwulm. See, round tongues give it form and shape. The it that is turned into he, they whisper to his decayed bride to honor him, to worship him. So this is like, obviously he's saying, you know, like round tongues, like, you know, the humans, the dry skins, give Sithis a form and a shape, right? So now it's like, oh, it's like a person. And now Sithis, the it, is turned into a he. He's being, you know, personified. They whisper to his decayed bride, you got the Night Mother, right? To honor him, to worship him. They name it Father, dreaded so. They pray with blades of dreaded blood. They speak one facet of the truth, something clinging to their tongues. I believe the one facet is just death, in this case. This is just really good. Seeing, like, the Argonians be like, you know, they get a little bit of it, right? So it's just kind of like, yeah, they get it, but not, they get a lot of stuff wrong. Shapelessness is given form. Change turns to stagnation. One truth becomes untruth. A brotherhood of something eyes. I guess instead of Nothing Speakers, maybe? So, if I remember correctly, like Niswo, you know, like they're called the Nothing Speakers. Essentially, they used to be like cruel priests of Sithis that turned into more like wise men and women. So, over time, when Shadowscale started getting, you know, sent to the Dark Brotherhood, they were like, okay, guys, well, the Dark Brotherhood has an idea, but don't hold to those ideas too closely because they don't quite get everything right. So a lot of times they're kind of like trying to keep the Shadowscales in line. They're like, yeah, they get some stuff, but not everything, which is just really interesting. I don't quite understand. I don't quite know, like, why, you know, it's like, oh, you're born under the shadow, you've got to become a Shadowscale. I'm not quite sure where that all comes from. I'm not an expert on astrological signs. I'm more of an expert on the Magna G and not really the signs themselves. But because, like, what is, hold on, give me a second, where is the shadow located? So many people are like, if you've been an Elder Scrolls fan for like years and years and years, you probably know all this by heart. But because, like, some of this is so important, right? I mean, like, knowing each sign, everything, it's like, oh, you know, you need to know it for what character you're making. I didn't have all those years of practice. Okay, the shadow is part of the thief. All right, that makes sense. So let me see here. I think that's okay. That makes sense. The shadow looks so weird in Redguard, and the way that it looks in Morrowind is the way that it just kind of looks for the rest of the series. It looks like. Like the depiction of it, like the overall, like, hooded figure. But yeah, so I don't quite know what it is. Like, I don't quite know, but
Old Huring's been spreading tales of how you defeated Milana. Very impressive.
I love that little wisp.
There's a lot of uncertainty in Belkarth these days, but you can rest assured we'll take good care of your valuables here.
Let's do Guild Bank. I have some style pages I'm sure I could get rid of. Yeah, yep. No. Yes. No, was that Did that say Minotaur? Did that say Minotaur? Jesus Christ, Minotaur helmets? I'm gonna hold on to that and maybe give it out as like a... I might give it to one of my family members. I might see if like Jared wants it or something. Jared might like it. I don't want to just like put that in the guild bank. I'm gonna hold on to that one. I must have got that like during the anniversary event or something. I definitely did not get that from like doing the Looming Shadows daily. I would have remembered. I mean, I'm sure it's like, you know, I could put it in the guild store and sell it for a bunch, I'm sure. But I don't. I'm gonna see if Jared wants it. I was sorry, man. I forgot to mute that. Anyway, so Gold Road is releasing in less than a month now. And I have not been talking much about it on Twitter or anything because the PTS is out and I don't do PTS. I'm gonna sell this just for extra gold. So I don't, I don't talk about it on my Twitter because it's like I don't know who's gonna respond. I don't do spoilers, right? Because I want, I want to experience things as I go. So it's like I have theories that I want to post about really bad, but I can't. And so I'm kind of like just talking to myself all the time. But I'm sure most people aren't bothering. You don't touch PTS as well. You did get into Smite 2 Alpha. Yeah, I might have messed with a PTS at some point, but not to get like spoilers or anything. I've just been curious about it. You want to see the wizard hat alone? What do you mean alone? What do you mean alone? What does that mean? Like you want me to kick everyone else out? I'm confused. Nothing in the camera besides the wizard hat. Okay, follow-up question. Would you like to see the white wizard hat? Or the brown wizard hat? White wizard hat is the staple? Okay. You didn't say hello to me, Driz. You just started demanding. I'm trying to figure out how to get this to work. Trying to figure out. I don't know. Yeah, I see him. I see him. All right. Let's see. Eh. There's the hat. There it is. Right there. No. There we go. There we are. The hat. The hat. Anyway, Jade. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make because I have my ring light on. There, how's that? Is that good? No. There. The ring light is so that you can see. Otherwise, it'll be too dark. But I'll turn it off for you. It'll be too dark, though. There you go. Man, this is spicy. Balderdash, it's not too dark. Okay, fine. Fine. You can believe that if you want. Ow. No, hold on, you can have that. You can have you can have it. Do you want? Okay. Okay, how many fingers are you holding up? None. Also, Tracy, do you like my dress? I don't know if it looks great with this pose. Nah, no, it looks good in this pose. But actually, I think it would look better if I went for way better, I think. One, the middle one. What? That means that you're flipping me off. I can't believe you. Yeah, you're going etching water, but you're not tired and you're doing laundry. I have to. I'm gonna be going to the fair, so I've got to be up early, and I don't want to be. I'm very annoyed. So yeah, the stream won't be very long at all. What does that mean? Your fair isn't until August? It would be way too hot here, I think. Oh, this isn't going to be the state fair. That's not what we're doing. I'm talking about a Renaissance fair. We go every year when we can. I think I don't remember if we went last year. Maybe? I'm pretty sure we did. You stand by what you say? You'll think it's wait, are these guns? Are we talking about guns in my chat? This way hand here is a great sword. Oh. You know what it's called when my friends go to the fair with me? They're called fair weather friends. It's type of Claymore. Well, I think my inventory is pretty clear for this. Goodness gracious. That mount. You're gonna feed me a banana? I was gonna eat a banana yesterday. Because I keep getting them at work. Because my supervisor doesn't know that I'm allergic or whatever. And I don't, at this point, I can't seem to find the time to tell him that I cannot have bananas. So I've been taking them home and giving them away. Mom's like, maybe I'll make banana bread. But I was going to have one yesterday just to test it out. But she was like, do not. Which I guess is fair, because last time I had a banana, I literally almost died. I had never felt so close to not existing than when I last had a banana. It was definitely the scariest experience in recent memory. It's very much like one of those, like, okay, I think I'm dying. I gotta keep my cool and try to fix it. It's like in games when like the side of your vision turn red and you like hear your heartbeat and your character's like it's like that. You have fun with cinnamon? Do not. I mean, I don't hate bananas. I mean, like, I like the way they taste. You know your limits. You get the Call of Duty screen shake as you start collapsing to the floor. Your death screen message, potassium will not be tolerated. Seriously, I try to eat healthy and what happens? I almost die. Ridiculous. I've been kind of thinking about messing with energy drinks. I don't have energy drinks. I've never been that kind of guy. But I've been thinking about like if I should give it a shot. But it would have to be on like a Friday night when I have nothing to do for the whole weekend. If it puts me out of commission, you know. But I'm tired all the time. Well, most of the time. Like I'm taking naps all the time. Like I get home from work, I make dinner, I play some ESO, and I take like a nap. Because I'm always so tired. So I'm thinking about like you legit just smashed a Red Bull. I'm thinking about like maybe I'll try a Monster. I kind of thought that Monster would be appropriate because my name is Kyle. So I thought, you know what? Maybe maybe like Kyles and Monsters just work together. So I don't know. But the thing is, so it's like I would definitely need time to see if it kills me. Yeah, the alternative green tea. Does green tea have a lot of caffeine?
Advanced Gamer Energy Powder.
I don't know what that is.
Turn back. I will not be responsible for your deaths.
He's reading the lore. But like I don't have coffee. I haven't been a coffee drinker since I don't know, the early 2010s. Maybe. It's G Fuel's competitor, but it's actually healthier than G Fuel. Here's the thing though, it's like I get shaky, you know? I get shaky and it's like I get like if there's an energy drink that energizes me too much that I'm like tightening up and getting stressed or whatever, then it's like I don't really know if I'm interested. I want something to just kind of keep me awake, right? I want to find that balance, and that's gonna be hard, right? Because it's like I would need to test, do like try and true tests to see what I can use to keep me awake. What is it about green tea, Drizzy? Is there a lot of caffeine? Because again, like I don't want anything that has so much caffeine that I get shaky. I mean, I hate to fall into the thin, nerdy stereotype, but unfortunately, that's where I am. Okay, that's all Drizzy knows how to say. Suddenly, Drizzy is like Groot now, where she just says green tea with various levels of intensity.
My magic will destroy you. It rages like a storm through this tower.
Maybe that's her Pokemon name. Green tea. It's like Greanty. Green tea is the Pokemon name, and she's just like green tea. Green tea.
I came to this archive to contain the
Take the advice, old man.
My loss of control blasted all that you see into terrible existence.
No.
Why do you persist? Turn back.
Uh-oh. So you actually need 12 players for this trial. If you don't have 12 players, you cannot complete the trial. It's the only trial I can think of that has that. In fact, I believe it is the only trial that has this. That is because there are paths that need to be touched by actual players in order to proceed with the trial. If you do not stand on them, you cannot continue on. So you need actually 12 warm bodies. At least during those instances to get through. Be tired like the old man I am.
Why are you here? Are you like the first mages seeking power? Mortals are such fools.
I think that guy's new. That's okay though. Yeah, I mean you have to be new at some point.
I need healing. Aid me.
Leaf, that's the evolution, right? So green tea evolves into tea green. And tea green is, a lot more like, tea green has like that stoic vibe. Like a sensei, but also they look like really, like solid. Like nothing will blow them over. And they're just like, tea green. Tea green, tea. Lies, you're perfect at everything except streaming, you're not great at that. Or, I mean, you know. Or spelling except. But no, you're great at streaming. You just gotta work on spelling except. That's about it. That's my only note at the bottom.
Heal me.
Uh-oh. There you go, see, you got it! Now you have no weaknesses. You've already perfected it. That was like what? That was like what, 30 seconds? Now you're great at everything. Being a writer doesn't mean you know how to spell everything. a lot of times being a writer is just getting the ideas together. That's why writers have like editors, right? Because editors would be like, oh, you spelled this wrong. It's like, well, you know, the writer had the vision. They just, you know, might have forgotten how to spell the vision. Find typos in books all the time.
Summon these creatures.
Here's a typo for you guys.
To keep outsiders
In the
from
Rift
reaching me.
Zone,
Stay back.
Shroud Hearth Barrow is listed as Shroud Heart Barrow, and it still annoys me. Never telling you about your secret streaming channel? Well, fine, I won't tell you about mine either.
You are truly foolish to come farther. This Atronach gives way to no one.
But it's on a site that rhymes with Raisin Brands. How did we lose somebody? What happened? Oh wow, did they fall? Did they like fall off the pit? What happened? Oh shit! I got hit with in the back of the head with a rock. Can I try this again? Please. You go live very often. Well, if you don't want to share it with me, then it's none of my business. Your notes don't actually change anything, they just recommend making changes? Oh. So they recommend you, like, oh, you might want to spell this correctly. Oh, heavy sack. No, I'm trying to get the... There we go. This guy's liking it. I don't really entertain much. I don't really know if I count myself as an entertainer. I like the idea that I just kind of go live and talk.
I need healing.
I'm at the point where people are like, you know, I think sometimes people don't know if I'm live or not, like if I'm playing a game, because they're, you know, because they're like, I'm acting just like I do when I am live.
Aid me.
I'm just a chatterbox, be it on or off stream, I chat. I'm an entertainer. Well, being an entertainer, I feel like it's up for my audience to say so. So if you say I am, then I am. I'll accept the compliment. You just want to say you're surprisingly really good at this? I don't think it's surprising. I'm trying to think about like, I don't know when I started streaming. Oh, hi, I was Crazed. Hi, Crazed. I was like, who did that? I don't know when I started streaming, but I believe it was somewhere in the summer of 19, maybe spring of 19. So I've been streaming for like 5 years now. I recently had my affiliate anniversary, I think last Sunday. It's kind of how you feel, like you kind of ramble when you stream. Yeah, here's the thing. I feel like a lot of people believe entertaining is harder than it is, because people just like to hang out with people. You know? People are just funny. I mean, during, like, I think it was around 2020, I started watching this streamer who got no attention, like, literally no views, and she and her friends were hilarious. I was like, this is some great content, but just no one else is there. I mean, if I was a big streamer, I would be shouting people out constantly. Because some people just need that big break. They just need that opportunity to be out there. Because, I mean, like, once they're out there, you know, that can make a big difference. Like, earlier today, I decided to, listen to a couple YouTube documentaries that were actually very well done. Oh my god, he fell in. He fell in. He's okay, he's okay. Don't fall in! Careful, careful, careful.
I warned you to leave.
Throws smoke bomb and hides in a tree. No, leave Craze alone. Let her lurk. So I was listening to some documentaries earlier today, or yesterday, I guess, about Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. Individually, this channel had two different. Oh my god, I would have clicked on that if this was Vet. I would. It surprised me. I probably wouldn't have. So I was listening to those, and it's like, yeah, sometimes like you just need to give someone a break and they move on from there and eventually become the next big thing. You don't know. Because I mean, like Lucille Ball started from, you know, like nothing, and eventually it took, obviously, it's just so much trial and error, but eventually got somewhere. And then Desi started very privileged, and then turned not privileged, and then had to build up from there. But it's all about getting that break sometimes, and you know, if I would love to be able to give that to people. And you know what? And what's interesting is that Lucille Ball knew this. You know, I mean, she's a legend, really. She knew this when, you know, when she had all that fame and stuff. She didn't, you know, forget about what it means to give people chances. Because, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people know this, but because, like, when Star Trek was happening and people weren't giving Star Trek a chance, she, like, convinced the network to just give it another chance and to let it keep going. And so Star Trek took off after that. I don't think she really knew what it was, but she knew what it was like, I think, to give something a big break, and she saw potential in that. And she was like, yeah. And I mean, like, so she used her place to give people a voice. And that's just a really big thing to give a shout out, basically. I mean, you think streamers are better when they're honest? Like you, Luck, Ranger, all you're great to hang out with. I need to visit Ranger more often. Hold on, I should do shoutouts for the both of them. Give me a second.
I cannot control my creations.
We're about to be knocked onto our asses. Ow. Ow. And ow. Ow. Here comes the sun. Da-da-da-da. Alright. Right, so give me a second.
It has been some time.
Not long enough.
I think that's right.
How quaint. Where is the snake? I owe him a fiery spell for this. Defeated. Locked away in his apex stone. But his attention will turn.
There we go. I think that should do it.
We should depart.
I'm looking for ethereal aether. I'm going to hand over this ethereal aether to this person, but I'm going to mark his junk first. That's probably him standing right behind me, and that's probably him getting really snuggly with my tail. Hold on, please, hold on. I'm marking his junk. God, I said give me a second. I don't like opening my inventory. Okay, here we go, here we go. All right. No, I got it. No. What the fuck? Come back here. Get back here, please. Where are they? Okay, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Here you are. You almost left without your infallible aether. Yeah, I literally I said give me a moment. I thought he was gonna leave. I mean, he went through the portal. I was like, he's gonna leave. He just doesn't want to wait. I would have felt awful. Because, I mean, like, I'm so slow. I'm so freaking slow. Marking everything as junk. So, I didn't actually know Casual Ranger until recently. But we've been talking more often. I think I've retweeted him a couple of times recently. He really likes Imperial stuff. I have a couple friends who really like Imperial stuff, like more than anything. Please don't be here. Please don't be here. What are you doing? What are we here for? Why are you looking at me? Hello? He's not giving me anything. Why did he catch me? I'm probably gonna have to get rid of something really quick if he wants to put something in my inventory. Did I not give it to him? Did I give it to the wrong person? Well, shit. He was in a crowd. If he didn't leave and run into the crowd, I would have got him. But he had to run into the crowd. I gave it to the wrong person. I just handed it to someone. I ran up to him and I pressed trade and it just... Well, if only he had stood still. What was I saying before that? I forgot. It was a very fascinating it was a fascinating documentary. I don't know. I don't know how to find out who made it. I forgot what the channel name was. Let me see here. Biographics. Biographics did both of them. You like Imperial stuff? Imperials are cool. I like Imperial stuff too. They're just, you know, it's not like my fave. But I like Imperial history and the Pantheon. But, you know, it's not too special of a pantheon because it got everywhere. But I mean, like, I think you're probably going to be hearing a lot about Rizlav the Righteous this year, maybe, because of the area that we're in. So I'm guessing that you might hear a lot of, like, maybe if you're scrying, you might hear about, like, the Alessian Order. For example, I think that we might hear about that this year. I think that I could see Zos really capitalizing on those bits of the lore. So if you like Imperial lore, I see them talking about that. So if you hear about the Alessian Order, your first thought might be, you know, Alessia's cool. If you know who Alessia is, you're like, you know, she freed the Needs from alien rule, right? I mean, the Alessian Slave Rebellion is a big thing. But the Alessian Order is a different story. She had nothing to do with that. It's just using her name. And it's definitely not as inspirational or positive. So, essentially, like, long after Alessia's gone, I think, like, what, a few hundred years, maybe? Things start getting a little bit rocky in Cyrodiil because they start seeing a spike in anti-elf racism. And I know you're thinking, like, hold on, I gotta leave this group. I completely forgot I'm still in it. Silly me. God, my CP is... It surprised me when I saw it. So, yeah, so, like... You think that, like, Cyrodiil would be super anti-elf because of the Slave Rebellion, but there's actually an exception. Because during the Slave Rebellion, there were actually aliens that joined the side of the Needs. There were actually cities that were like, yeah, we'll assist you. And those cities were given, obviously, they were given protection, right? So it's like, all the aliens are out, except for, you know, it's like that SpongeBob meme, except for you stay. It was like that. So they were like, you know, they stayed there, but the thing is, though, they were rules, obviously. The rules were no Daedra worship, you have to abide by our religious pantheon, and all that stuff. And it was rocky for a lot of aliens. They were like, ugh, now we gotta worship these new gods, and, you know, it was a mess. But to my knowledge, they at least made it work. Eventually, though, things started becoming very anti-Myr in Cyrodiil, until eventually the Alessian reforms became a thing, and the Empire was like, okay, you know what, actually, screw this. And they started, like, attacking alien cities, you know, killing and burning, and it's pretty upsetting. And this racist movement, there's a lot more detail to it about, like, the religious aspects and stuff like that, and I'm really simplifying it here, but essentially they became a xenophobic movement, a massive xenophobic movement that basically just took all of Cyrodiil, with the exception of, like, you know, the Colovian area. You've got you know, Skingrad, Kvatch, Anvil to the west. Those areas were always kind of the odd one out, and they weren't really big on these ideas. The Rizlav the Righteous story goes in detail about what really happened with them and the Alessian Order. Hi, Driz. What do you mean by that? I don't understand what you mean. Your viewer rounds? You did your Twitch patrols? But yeah, so the Order essentially tried to get their grubby hands into everything. Oh, you're in many chats, I see. That's right. That's right. So the order was like, you know, they're trying to tell Calovia what to do. They're trying to tell High Rock what to do. Calovia said, no, you can't tell us what to believe and how to act. And then that kind of, I think that inspired High Rock. High Rock was like, you know what, we feel the same way. You can't tell us what to do. Eventually this led to a battle that I think a lot of Elder Scrolls fans are familiar with, maybe. The Battle of Glenumbra Moors, or Glenumbria Moors, which happened right here. And essentially this was the Alessian Order against a bunch of... basically, you had the Dureni there, or the Dureni elves. You had the aliens there. You had the Bretons there, obviously, because, you know, Bretons and Dureni, hand in hand. And interestingly enough, you had Nords there. You had Hoag Merkiller was there. And it was all of them against the Alessian Order. This is basically the battle that like changed the course of the Alessian Order. The Alessian Order was like at the peak of their power at this point. They lose here. They lose this fight. And after that, they exist for an incredibly long time, but they don't reach this level of power again. They retreat, right? They're like, we're tails between their legs, we're out. The Dureni suffer incredibly because of this. The Dureni, whereas they did win, a lot of them died. And I believe it kind of paved way for the Bretons to kind of take control of High Rock because the Dureni were incredibly weakened. You also have the Pale Order. The Pale Order kind of spiked after this, and the Dureni were already on their last legs, and the Pale Order started to chop them off. So the Alessian Order, though, runs, and they're like, okay, we're just going to go back to, you know, doing stuff here in Cyrodiil. So, man, I'm trying to remember all the details here. Eventually, the Alessian Order gets so incredibly obsessed with their idea of a do I like pies in Spanish? I've never had a pie in Spanish. The you know what? Now that the more that I think about it, the more that I wonder if this is going to be a decent plot point this year, but I doubt it because ESO likes to go really deep in lore, but not on the forefront. You know, there's never going to be, like, really rich, deep lore that you have to know to do the main quest. So it might be, like, in the background. But there's a simpler question. Do you like pies? Depends. Actually, no, it doesn't depend on what pie. I like pies, yeah. I guess it does depend. You know, like, if any normal pie, I like. Don't derail me. Don't derail. I'm going to be talking about something incredibly important. And something that I'm sure a lot of Elder Scrolls fans have heard about, but they might not know the story behind. But I'm going to tell the simple version because I don't want to get any details wrong. But, so essentially, the Alessian Order, like I said, xenophobic. They're very anti-elf. And they're very zealous, I guess, if that's the right terminology to use. They essentially look at the concept of Akatosh, right? And they're aware that Akatosh as a concept is derived and connected to the elvish concept of Ariel, right? So they don't like this. The Alessian Order does not like the idea that there's like elf inspiration in their perception of Akatosh. It's basically it's like imagine like I don't know. Imagine having a bad memory connected to something, and you're like you really just wish you could separate a bad memory from a thing. That's kind of I guess their idea here. They wanted to change it. They wanted to make a big change. So they perform a ritual right? The Alessian Order has a sect called the Marukati Selectives, which do a ritual that's essentially supposed to be a form of divine surgery, and they're trying to change Akatosh into something that they want Akatosh to be. This ends up becoming one of the most impactful moments in all of Elder Scrolls history because it initiates a dragon break. I think the most widespread known dragon break. If people say the dragon break, this is what they mean. Specifically in ESO, because by ESO's time, the warp in the West hasn't happened. So this is the dragon break. It's called the Middle Dawn, and it happened because the Alessian Order decided they were so racist that they busted all of time. So essentially, it means that for I forget how I think it might be 1,008 years. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was like over 1,000 years. Essentially, time was so complicated. Nothing really. There's no way to really understand what happened during this time because it was a dragon break. It's like so many things happened in so many different ways, right? It's like someone died, but they also didn't. Someone had children, but also they didn't. Someone won a war, but they also lost it at the same time. Essentially, it's just like every possibility is happening all at once during this complete chaotic sect of history. Now, this goes on for a while until eventually it does end, and things just kind of resume. It's kind of like a bottleneck, or just bottlenecks, and things just kind of like go back to linearity. The question is like, okay, well, did the Alessian Order did they succeed in whatever they were trying to do? It's a big question. They've got these very complicated beliefs. The Alessian Order and Marukati Selectives are such a rich, complex bit of lore. Now, the question is just like, well, will they talk about that this year? Is this going to be important at all? And I kind of assume that the Alessian Order might be important in the background. But, interestingly enough, they actually dove right into this in the prologue quest, which took me completely off guard, because I didn't actually think they were going to cover the Middle Dawn at all. I thought maybe they would cover the Alessian Order, but they're going into Middle Dawn. So, in the prologue quest for Gold Road, there's a book that they... Here we are. So, it's called the Blade Songs of Bothra. This is an ancient Khajiit pre-Riddlethar Epiphany legend. So it's very, very old. You get volume 2, 3, and 5, so obviously there's like bits missing. Number 5, the final bit that you get, is the most relevant to this discussion. So here's, basically, this tale is, it's a Khajiit tale talking about, it's basically like a battle of the Daedric princes. Meridia seems to be using Dagon to some end. It looks like she's trying to maybe alter fate. I'm honestly not entirely sure, but she's essentially trying to get access to the Varliance Gate, which I find fascinating. Either way, the ending of the book covers the Middle Dawn, where it's mentioning right here Bothra noticing the blue star in the sky, which is a reference to Mamoli, the star that's associated with like untime events. It said that during the Middle Dawn, she was so bright that you could see her even during the daytime, because it was such a screwed up moment in time that, like, oh yeah, she's freaking out. So it just kind of goes into the detail of the Middle Dawn. You've got references to Monkey Truth, like Marok. You've got many paths. Okay, no, hold on. Yeah, you see here, it's like Bothra having memories of Akatosh that are being altered. So here's a reference to them screwing with Akatosh. Essentially, this right here is some of the deepest Elder Scrolls lore that we've gotten since 2006. I mean, like, I think that, like, right now, there should, in my opinion, there should be at least 20 different lore theory videos on YouTube about this book, or about the prologue books in general, and there's, like, I don't think there's any. I don't think I've seen any. I don't know. It's kind of sad. If this was in Elder Scrolls 6, I think people would be, like, I don't know. Does Fudge Muppet know about this? Someone get Fudge Muppet on this. He could make videos for years over this, you know? So I know I'm rambling. I know there's, like, it's probably very confusing, because to really explain this, I would need to go into detail about what this means. But essentially, Majority probably already has. Yeah, I'm sure he might know about it. I haven't watched him in ages, but he has to put out so many videos. It's like, surely he knows. So you've got essentially it. It seems like the Middle Dawn, like the ritual, was reaching into multiple possibilities, right? And essentially they're trying to select one. It's the exact same thing as what Athelia does, right? I don't know if this is directly connected to Athelia, or if this is just something similar. Because essentially it's showing, like, various possibilities. But what's interesting, I think the most interesting thing is that this book claims at the very end that Bothra is the reason for the Middle Dawn's ending. Now, I have never heard of any text talking about. Well, actually, no. Hold on. Scratch that. I can think of maybe one text that talks about ending a Dragon Break. So, ending a Dragon Break is a complicated idea, because a Dragon Break is essentially like, anything goes any way at any time. And to end it, it's like, well, how can you know what ends it if that would require you to know what happens during it, and what happens during it is everything, in like a zillion different ways. So that's kind of like, it's kind of hard to think about. So there is a unofficial lore about these dragons called Jills that repaired time when Dragon Breaks happen, right? It would be like, oh, these dragons that are able to perceive outside of time, and they're like, oh shit, that's screwed up, so they just kind of fix it. But in this book, it implies that Bothra is the reason for the Middle Dawn's ending, which is a really big deal. Is it true? Who knows? Because again, what's true during a Dragon Break, and how did the Khajiit even know this? But it's very interesting to get to hear about ending a Dragon Break. Like, it's just written here in a book. It's not something you see very often. The only other time I can think about anything saying we ended the Dragon Break was I'm probably not gonna be able to find it. There's no... What? Come on. What? There's no way that's... There's no way that there's just... I just have one book that... Okay. Is my thing bugging? No, okay. They don't dash it. Alright. That's fine. No, it's not here though. But there's an Aldmeri Dominion propaganda text that claims that they ended the Middle Dawn, if I remember correctly, which I found hilarious. I don't know where it is. If I type in Aldmeri Dominion, it's gonna be so hard to find. But it's in one of my lore books, like in real life. But essentially, it says something like, mankind caused the Middle Dawn, and it took us to end it, or something. And so it's like, the Elmeri Dominion is taking credit for finishing a Dragon Break, which is funny. But but that's like the only other time I can think of. Leaf ended the Middle Dawn, an older Leaf. Like Leaf before Leaf. But I mean, like, again, can you really say what happened during the Middle Dawn? Because that in itself is already a meaningless endeavor. Because how do you do that? Because I mean, like, the Middle Dawn it's a time, it's the time before time, but during time, right? I love to say time before time. It gives me bionicle memories. So essentially, you know, before time existed, it was all chaos. It was like things happened in whatever order they pleased, and things happened in different ways. Time wasn't linear. So the Middle Dawn, or just Dragon Breaks in general, is just taking that concept and having it happen during history, right? Essentially, it's literally a break in time. Time being dragon, break being break, right? Dragon Break. Leaf before history incarnation. So yeah, it's essentially it seems to be, the book seems to be claiming that, like, the Alessian Order, this rite that they did, it was something to do with reaching into various possibilities, which obviously is what Athelia, you know, that's her thing. So the idea of just reaching into various concepts, were they invoking Athelia? Is she just, like, connected to it in general? So it's all very interesting. The Blade Songs and also the Coruscations, the two series that came out during the prologue, are the best Elder Scrolls books since Oblivion. I think that might even be better than Oblivion, maybe, because, like, the only thing in the Elder Scrolls 4 that comes close is the commentaries on the Mysterium Xarxes, and that's just like alongside it. I'd say that these two series, the Blade Songs and the Coruscations, they are like Morrowind level. They are Morrowind level of lore. We're talking Monomyth. We're talking Sermons of Avec. I think they're up there. I mean, maybe a little bit. They're obviously shorter, and I think that, like, they're a little bit more blunt around the edges at times. But I think that they are possibly Morrowind level. Yeah, it is high praise. But I mean, like, and I'm someone that's, you know, I didn't play Morrowind or Oblivion growing up or anything, but I spend more time reading than I do playing. And so I've got my eyes in all the books. And so I think me having more of a fresh, having all that in my head, I'm not like, I don't know, as rose-colored goggles as some people. So I can kind of see things for, like, you know, like how they are in the moment. Because I only really started getting into the Elder Scrolls around, like, probably 2017. Maybe 16. But, like, so but I've, like, read every book. And these new ones are so good. They're so good that I'm thinking, like, for the rest of the year we could, like, get no books, and I might be happy. You know? They're just that good. There's just so much that you can do with them. You know? I mean, it's just like the Coruscations were so good that because they released around the Coruscations. No, how do you spell that? It's like Coruscant. Coruscations. There we go. So they released around you know, the anniversary, so everyone was grinding all the bosses, and I was, like, reading each different entry of the Coruscations between boss spawns. And I was like, because I needed time to think, right? So I would read an entry and then try to take it apart for a while before going on to the next one, because it's just so heavy. They're heavy. I mean, like, maybe I'm biased, because, like, the Magna G, again, they might end up saying it's Magna G or something, Magna Gay, maybe, I don't know. But I'm calling it Magna G for right now. Magna G stuff is my favorite. Some of my favorite stuff in all the Elder Scrolls. And so, like, to have them, like, brought into the foreground, it's like when Mimics were brought into the foreground. I was like, please, yes, I need more of it. I mean, not only that, but to get names for all these different Magna G that we just, like, we only had Zero Lig, we had Memoli, we had Marinunda, right? I think that's all we had. I think we might have had one more, but I forgot. Like, it was, like, mentioned once. Ulda, I think? But, like, then, now we're getting, like, all these other ones. It's just, like, it's just so much for my head. Because I'm so used to just having, Blue Star, right? Memoli is the Blue Star. That's not, everyone knew that. That's just how it was. When you hear Blue Star, you know that's Memoli. And now they're just like, oh yeah, there's Cyan Star, green, orange, yellow, you know? And it's just so much to take in. I don't know, it's kind of like going from only knowing Luke Skywalker and Yoda, you know, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then suddenly the prequels come out, and then you get, like, all these Jedi from the Jedi Council, right? And it's like, holy shit, there's so many, you know? And there's just, like, so much to delve into. That's how it feels. Wait. No, that's right. That's right. It's, so the Star Queen that we see here who wrote this, her name is, Star something. I don't know what, oh wait, actually, no, hold on. I think it's a little bit different. It's Varalias instead of Varlias. So I don't actually know what her name is, but it's so close to Star. It's so close to stars that it's just spinning my mind. Her name is so close to stars. It's just like a few letters are mixed around. That's funny. But yeah, so I don't know if we're gonna get more information on this, but here's something interesting that I think should be pointed out. Is that when I was doing Infinite Archive last night, because I hate myself, and I'm really bad at it, I got to Thoat, which does not happen every day. I've got my nose in books more than I have my hands on the keyboard. So I got to Thoat, and I felt so proud of myself. And then my game crashed, and I lost all my progress. Anyway, I was fighting her, and she beat me. And you know what she said when she beat me? She said a line that I've never heard before. Let me get it. And this is such a weird line that I just had to save for reference. I was going to bring it up on Twitter, but again, I can't do that because I don't want to be too open about any of this. I don't want, like, because I don't know, I've got a lot of people looking and a lot of people in PTS, so I don't want to be too vocal. So Thoat says this. She says, "Dusk falls and the stars resume their nightly search." Which is such a weird thing to say. Obviously, Thoat, you know, Thoat's, like, related to Athalia. She's, like, a Daedra from Miramor or something, it looks like. Which is obvious. But she says, "Dusk falls and the stars resume their nightly search." Now, when you hear Dusk falls, damn, the first thing I think of is Argonians, obviously. But I don't really... dusk falling is just a thing that you'd say because that's what happens during dusk. I think that instead, this is a reference to Azura. Azura's incredibly involved in this, in what's going on, which is cool. I want to see more Azura. To the point where I wonder if Azura is a Magna G herself. There's just so many things about her. Anyway, so she says the stars resume their nightly search. Obviously, stars being Magna G. Does that mean that, like, the Magna G in general, like, are they looking for Athalia? Like, does Meridia want to find her? Are these other Magna G, like, are they like boots on the ground? Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, I also think that a lot of people don't really care about the lore as much, and they all just kind of want to show the new furnishings and they want to show the scribing stuff. That's fine with me. Show some scribing stuff. I don't really mind. I saw. Well, I'm not gonna. I'm sure if you want to find scribing stuff, you know where to look. But we only have like a month to go. So I don't know. Like, it's just. So also, here's another thing randomly. I guess this is me going off on a rabbit trail. But during the ESO Live, the anniversary thing, like that they had in Amsterdam, I didn't go, but I was watching it and I was reviewing it. So during it, I think they claim they're like, oh, the stuff in the Infinite Archive is Athalian or whatnot. I forget who said that, but they got onto him and they were like, oh, we didn't confirm that yet. We never saw that. We never said that was Athalia. You just gave away the secret. And he was just kind of like, oops. And he was embarrassed a little bit. But I'm sitting there like, well, yeah. I mean, like, as soon as they revealed Gold Road and they showed the Daedra from Miramor, it's like, okay, that's what Thoat is. It's the same graphics, the same models. It's clearly that Thoat is an Athelian Daedra, like a Scion. It's obvious at this point. If you're going to talk about Athalia, you might as well just say that, that was a Scion or whatever. It's not a spoiler at this point, So I don't really know why they were like, you spoiled it. It's like, it's obvious. It's the same model, the same graphics. She uses mirror abilities. I mean, come on. So, I mean, like, the secret's out as soon as you've revealed Gold Road. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm interested to see what they do. I'm really hyped that I was not only right with my Magna G theory, but I was right with assuming Meridia is involved. For the longest time, I was like, we're not gonna, like, oh, I thought Meridia was gonna be involved, but it looks like she's not, and I put my notes away, and I felt really embarrassed. But now it's like pretty obvious that she's at least involved in some way, even if it's just through her connection as a Magna G. So it's like I felt like I was a failure for the longest time, and the devs were probably looking at my Twitter like, this guy has no idea. Because I just wanted to be right about something, because I was like, it's not Thalanesti. But so here's something cool that I want to point out for you guys. Give me a second. It's in the second one. So we have Marinunda here. So obviously Marinunda, Meridia. So she's listed as the red star. You think that she would be like the gold star or something, right? Because she's always golden. But instead she's the red star. So Harbinger of Dawn, second daughter of, I'm guessing, Magnus. So here's something interesting. I don't believe it's ever actually, like, I don't think it's ever, like, super heavily hinted literally. But I think there's good reason to believe that Meridia was heavily involved in the creation of Mehrunes Dagon. I mean, you have the lore about the Magna G creating Dagon. You have the additional lore that Blackwood dropped about, like, why they put their efforts into creating Dagon. You have Meridia getting punished for consorting with Daedric powers. You have the Khajiit lore about Molag Bal's, I think it was Molag Bal's wife or something, setting Mehrunes free and transforming him into Dagon. It's like that's obviously supposed to be Meridia. And then you have the follow-up Khajiit lore about Meridunda setting Dagon loose on the lattice, and the new lore that just dropped with the prologue quest about like him busting the lattice open and her slipping through, which I don't think was canon yet. So it's like she's directly connected to Dagon, so I think that's why she's the Red Star. Like it just kind of connects with her and Dagon together. This is another reason why I believe that. I guess I'm gonna talk about Blackwood here for a second. I know it's Blackwood's the Gates of Oblivion. Like if you do Blackwood and then Deadlands, it's pretty good. Blackwood can kind of drag on a bit. Deadlands is very good, and if you do both of them and then you do the final quest, it ends with Lyranth, who is in possession of the Ambition's power, and Lyranth says that she's taking it somewhere, and she doesn't really tell you where. I recall her saying like it's somewhere that like no Daedra has gone, which I find kind of odd. So I don't really know if I'm right about this, but I kind of theorize that she's just giving that power to Meridia. The reason I think so is because if Meridia was involved in the creation of Dagon, right, then that potential, that energy might just belong to her because it's Dagon's, right? So it's like she's just taking it back. I don't know if something happens if she takes it back, but I do believe it technically belongs to her because the Magna G imbued Dagon with that potential, and that's what the ambitions were. The ambitions were little Dagons, pretty much. That's what a lot of people I think don't really notice about the ambitions is that they're. What makes them interesting is that they literally are like the Dagon creation story, but in tiny form, right? They're essentially imbued with this potential, right? This essence of Dagon, and then put in vaults. They eventually break free of those vaults, and they're incredibly powerful. I mean, it just seems very Dagon-ish, and I think that's kind of what they were doing there. So I think it's Meridia kind of taking that back. Meridia's already has some pretty big influence in ESO between the main quests as Malatar and Somerset. It would have been cool to have a more Meridia-centric story. Right. Here's the thing. I think that this is her continuation from the main quest. I think that she's had plans for us for a long time. I think that she's got something going on below the surface that we might delve into, and I don't think it's a coincidence that it's happening on the 10-year anniversary of the game. I think that this is like ESO's version of ending an arc that's been like slowly dropping hints over the course of a decade, which is pretty impressive if that's the case. But yeah. So, as you can see here, just looking at this book, you can tell this is very heavy stuff. This is very heavy stuff. I mean, this is... I mean, like, you've got here, like, you got information on Zero Lig. Obviously, you have a lot of omitted words, probably because of, like, smudging, or, I don't know, lack of translation. It's probably, I think it's smudging, because, like, some things that are clearly, referenced here, like, second daughter of blank, it's probably Magnus, and obviously, like, we've seen the word Magnus here before, so it's probably, like, supposed to be, smudging or something, because it's an old text, so maybe tears in the book. But, Zero Lig is very important. I mean, like, Lig is obviously, like, written in the commentaries of the Mysterium Xarxes as being where Dagon was created, in the bowels of Lig. Is that, like, location-wise? Is it non-literal? Is it, like, the bowels of Lig as in, like, Lig was involved in the creation? It's just so heavy, man. I mean, like, just like any line in here, I think could spawn so many theories. So much so that I can't even, like, it's like, where do you even start? It's almost like a freaking whole new Elder Scrolls game. Because there's just so much in a small area. I guess that's kind of a good way to put it. It's so heavily condensed. You've got references here to the adjacent space and fighting alongside Lork within alternate worlds until endless possibilities. So we've got King of Dreg fell to Mehrunes the Razor. So this I'm guessing is like the topic of alternate worlds and endless possibilities. This is Molag Bal dying to Dagon. Then we have Blank was forced into the next Kalpa to spiral ever out and see the land and sky preferred to see. Blank she was left to wander beside the serpent, so dark as to not be at all. I don't know if that means that if that's talking about Lig, like Lig is following maybe the serpent constellation and you can't see Lig anymore. I don't know if that means that Lig is an unstar or what. Because Lig is the black star here. Oh wait, hold on. Here it is right here. Carried among unstars. This is right here. I'm so silly. Carried among unstars, Zero Lig cataloged all the events that probably happened through time and untime. And there she found paths yet unseen to those among the stars. Again, that's very Athelian, paths yet unseen. To ask what she saw, as she looked within the wheel and the center was gone, this is known only Blank and Blank, why they now bear this burden alone. Potato. Now, I'm guessing that's she looks within the wheel and sees the Mundus is missing? Or is that supposed to be like the tower within the tower's missing? I don't know. Now, let's see here. Here's a reference to Meridia bending the dragon. This is a reference that happens in multiple different places, including the Exegesis of Marinunda. It mentions bending the dragon, which essentially means being able to bend time. Now, this book was created for ESO back in 2014. Now, you have references here to the 9 coruscations in it. And you see some references here to the different ones. Now, at the very end, you have one of my favorite bits of Meridian lore. Here we have this text. Thus finally, thus does Marinunda ride or slide across the Rainbow Road from end to end, at one end stretching the dragon, at the other end compressing him. Now this is Frastus of Ellen here, who says, a curious passage indeed. The dragon, of course, traditionally refers to the divine we know as Akatosh, the god of time. This seems to suggest that by traveling the Rainbow Road, a reference to the prismatic refraction of light, Meridia can, in some sense, alter the rate at which time flows forward. So he's like, altering the speed of time, is this merely an absurd conceit of the late alien sorcerer priest, or genuine insight into the nature of one of the least understood Daedric princes? Who can say? So, it could be that not only are they talking about altering the flow of time, Meridia might have a connection to having the potential to alter time. I mean, like, it's not too different from Athelia, who literally can just alter how things go, right? Athelia just kind of goes, oh, hey, this path, I'm gonna take that one. I mean, Meridia is able to, according to this, bend time, so Athelia doesn't really seem all that different. Now, that leads me to another thing that I discovered that I just realized this last week. On a side note, the 4 clubs you're managing in 4 different leagues in football, manager, are doing very well. Go you! Congrats! I couldn't even manage 1 club. The most I do is admin some furry chats. I do not recommend. The book I'm looking for is actually, interestingly enough, a lot of people probably don't even know about this. Come on. Please tell me I have it. Please tell me I have it. Yes. The 36 Lessons, Sermon 37. So, this is interesting. There's a lot of questions about this book. I don't know everything about it. But I remember finding this interesting, and I went back to it earlier because someone had mentioned it in a completely different context, and it made me brainstorm. In this book, it mentions a few things. There's 3 different sections here about that references this, the light bent, the exact same wording used, right? In terms of like bending light. So what's with the context of the light bent? What is shown here in this 37th lesson? Now, someone pointed out to me. They were actually just talking to someone else. I forget who it was, but they were talking about like, oh, you know, it's showing different timelines or whatever, and it is showing different possibilities, right? Because it says the light bent, and then it shows like these different like possibilities of Vivek's existence, right? Like at this point, he's a vampire, and the light bent. Vivek awoke and grew fangs, unwilling to make herself a folding thing, and so like. These seem to be different possibilities that are happening to Vivek in this book. But the terminology they use is the light bent every time. Right? And what would bending light be? I think bending light and reflecting light could be seen as the same thing, which also walks right into Athelia's everything, you know? Reflecting light, it's a mirror. It's bending the light. And so I think that this book might be referencing that. This is the 37th Sermon of Vivek, which is a bending of the light, right? I mean, there's another reference. I mean, I want to make a post about this really bad, so bad, but I can't. You start with a club with 1 club in China, then you took over a very small club in England called St. Albans. Then you took over another club in England. It's called the Premier League. Then you took over a team in Belgium. Do you have a soccer addiction? You're just like conquering soccer clubs. Legendary. I don't actually know who wrote this. Some people say that they got Michael Kirkbride back to write Sermon 37. I don't know if that's true, but let me tell you. I think that whoever wrote this is pretty good at replicating his style. I think it might have been him, but I don't know. If he's in the credits, it might just be because obviously he's done things for Elder Scrolls, but you know, he should be in the credits anyway because of all the stuff that he's done for the series. So I don't really know if like looking for him in the credits would make a difference. But yeah, I just have to point out, remember, that these texts reference bending of the light having to do with time and what looks like timelines, or at least potentialities, because the idea of timelines gets really complicated. So I'm just going to stick with potentialities for now. Four different managers, but you control all 4. I like the term control. I control all 4 soccer clubs. They will do whatever I ask. I just need say the word. Anyway, so yeah. Read the 9 coruscations. I highly advise it. Also, read the Blade Songs of Bothra. Remember, the Blade Songs of Bothra has 3 books, but they're like in fragments, so I think it's like 1, 2, and 5, or 2, 3, and 5. There's 3 books. Don't bother looking for any more. I wasted my time. You see that other club over there? Destroy them. Break their legs. Don't actually break their legs though. No one wants to see injuries. Well, then just do it like, I don't know, in an enclosed room. Anyway, I rambled a lot. I probably didn't make a lot of sense, but I hope that I was at least inspiring. I've been going for like 3.5 hours, so I should probably end. I don't usually end this early, but I do have to go to bed earlier. Whenever that's gonna happen, I don't know. But no one deserves to have their career cut short. Nope. Let me find someone to raid to. I might be live tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central Time, maybe? I don't know. Just look out for me tomorrow at some point. Maybe 9, maybe 10? Nah, it'll probably be 9. I can see it being 9. 9 p.m. Central. We're going to be going to Hero of None. Bed. I don't want to go to bed, like I said, but I don't know. Knowing me, it probably won't be for a while anyway. Give me a bit. Let me see here. We're going to be going to Hero of None. Thank you so much for being here. It's appreciated. I will see you next time. Bye. Wrong card.